Buddhism has to address the individual and their experience of being who they are, of being a completely unique experience of being alive and being in the world. And I think that, in a way, is what Buddhism basically does. It helps you to engage more deeply and more truthfully with your experience.
I want to be someone else, so I'll explode. Floating upon the surface for the bird.
My name is Bella, and I've been a Buddhist since 2008, October 2008. I was sort of looking for some sort of spiritual path, I guess. And I read a book written by the Dalai Lama, and it was quite psychological. And he talked about how we are in control of, our own happiness, and how we can change our feelings towards the world and whatever by, not by someone else doing this for you, but by your own actions. And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. So that's when I came to this center, and I thought, oh yeah, I want to check this out. So, and yeah, that's how it started.
I think Buddhism gives you tools to be able to access a kind of richness and satisfaction in your own experience that's much more lasting, much more reliable than, say, getting a satisfaction from material possessions.
And I think the question is, what can Buddhism do for an individual, for you as a person?
In Buddhism, they talk a lot about training your mind, because they believe that all your problems, everything comes from your mind, and so they believe when you learn to train your mind to control it and to see, learn about its behavior, then you can actually take control of your emotions like anger or hatred or jealousy or whatever. Yeah, I think Buddhism fits very well in the modern society because it has a very modern approach. If you don't cling on to the rituals too much, but their psychology is so advanced, it's definitely fits very well into the modern age. I think the modern psychologists can learn a lot about the studies of our minds,
Yeah, I think Buddhism has got a lot to offer to modern society. If you look back over the history of Buddhism, it's been going about 2,500 years, and it's always expressed itself in different ways when it's come into new cultures. For example, when Buddhism came into China and Japan, it changed and adapted itself to the very different situations that it was coming across in those countries compared to ancient India. And I think a similar process is happening now as Buddhism is coming into the West more and more. It's having to adapt itself to the particular needs and standards and values of the society that it's coming into. It's quite radical for the society to kind of start talking in that way. Start saying, well, your value doesn't depend on what you own or how much money you have or whatever. It's actually to do with, who you are, what your ethical practice is like, what the quality of your relationships are. So it's pointing at a very, very different way of looking at things. I think we'd like to see many more young people coming to Buddhism. Yeah, probably not as many as we'd like.
Maybe young people today are maybe more anxious than they used to be. I think they're maybe a little bit more insecure than they than they used to be. To really engage with Buddhist practice, you do need to be able to see through the kind of security that that the world offers, as it were.
It's as though the kind of your emotional balance kind of shifts a little bit, so that you become gradually more reliant on getting happiness and satisfaction from within your own experience, rather than kind of looking at it, looking for it from the outside.
There's one quote of the Dalai Lama, and he says, "This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness." It's not about whether you go to a temple. It's not about like how intellectually you're like, oh, I know all the teachings of the Buddha, and it's just about having, like, having a warm heart, and that's it. Like, it's about kindness. My brain, my heart is my temple, and my philosophy is kindness. So it's just sort of saying, yeah, it's not about all these outer sort of things. They help you, but it's not the main bit. The main bit comes from within.
Woman, sister,